So I'm actually in two minds right now, not Spanish and English, but half Scottish. And those of you who follow politics in the UK will know that Scotland is going for a vote later on this year to become independent. So maybe I have to have a foot in both countries. But I think my loyalties lie in the English side at the moment. So I'll repeat some of the things that have been said this morning because I think they're relevant. I'll talk also about in-store and online. I will try to avoid the word omnichannel or omni-retail because actually as customers, and we're all customers in the room, we don't care. None of us start our shopping journey and think, which channel shall I use today? We bounce around different channels depending upon where we are, what we have on us. So today I've got my iPad over there, I've got my phone here. If I'm in the airport later, I might pull out the laptop. I probably might have a look around some actual physical stores in the airport as well. But I'm not preferring any particular one. It's just what happens to be there. So it's really anytime, anywhere retail. So I'll talk about a number of different things. What is this driving? First of all, contextual promotions. Everyone's looking for personalization. If we look back at, I guess, where marketing came from, it was mass marketing and lots of emails and spam, etc., and then segmentation and really trying to put people into groups. But none of us are really all part of the same groups all the time. So now marketing is looking for, I guess, personalization, and how can I give you the exact messages and the exact promotions that you want based upon what you're doing today, where you are today, what else is happening in the context. Some of the things that are happening out in the world. Oh, by the way, just to sort of preface this presentation, you've had a lot of presentations from very clever people today talking about analytics, statistics, finance, etc. This is where we change. I'm not a very clever person. I'm an observer. My role is to observe what's happening in retail and really to recount that to other retailers and to our teams in the US to make sure we understand what are the behaviors of customers, both in terms of our retail customers and in the retailers' customers themselves. So, what are Visa doing? They're doing a lot of different things at the moment, trialing things at least. This thing at the top is called Visa Offers. Basically, as a customer, you would enroll in Visa Offers, and it then gives Visa the right to share your information. So every time you spend any money on your Visa card, they will effectively offer that information out to other retailers in that area and say, hey, Mark's spending money on his Visa card in your locality. Do you want to send him a promotion? Sounds a little bit like Big Brother, but it's a personalized promotion based upon the context of A, you're spending, so you're probably shopping, and B, you're in that locality. So try to make things more relevant. I guess the long-term goal there is to make sure actually we reduce the amount of spam that we get because we're only getting things that are relevant for us at that point in time. And other similar examples are Groupon, Amazon Local, so actually feeding me with local promotions and activities at discounts. And then perhaps a little bit more scary in terms of contextualizing things. The bottom right picture is from a UK post office. Somebody standing in the queue at the UK post office, looking at the digital signage, but actually that sign has a very small camera built into it. The camera is looking at that person, is working out, are they male, female, how old are they, and then seeking back into its content management system to feed absolutely the appropriate advertising message for that customer. And these things have been getting quite a bit of press recently because they're also now being rolled out by Tesco and Sainsbury's at their forecourt stores. So a lot of retailers are looking for ways to make sure the messaging that you see, even on the digital signs, is appropriate to you. Alan talked about payments, and I think it's worth spending a couple of minutes just on that subject. And he's right. Simplification is really the goal, but most retailers I talk to say it's not simple at the moment. It's very, very complicated. We want to offer better ways to pay. But even things like mobile point of sale, you speak to a lot of retailers and they'll say, yes, I want to be able to take customers' payments by mobile. Well, there's pay by mobile and there's mobile point of sale. Actually, they're quite different. So what is happening in the world that we're seeing? Well, certainly on the far right, NFC, the contactless payments, as Alan mentioned, definitely is increasing. Pretty much every Starbucks, McDonald's, Pret-a-Manger, Intermarché, etc., all able to take contactless payments. But the difficulty there is it's only really appropriate for payments under £20 in the UK, and I think it's 25 or 30 euros in Europe. So, and that's without any further input from you. So the real speed benefit for the transaction is for those smaller payments. But for a Starbucks, absolutely perfect, because they can take orders very quickly up front and then pay for them very quickly using tap and go. Google Wallet, a lot was said about Google Wallet, what is it, 2 years ago now? And have we seen anything in Europe? No, absolutely nothing from Google Wallet. What we have seen though, this is a US example, PayPal are really pushing hard to get into the actually in-store payments market. So this is in a Home Depot store in the US. So there are over 140 million PayPal users worldwide. And they can now go into a Home Depot store in the US, and if they buy something, they can pay using their PayPal account. The interesting thing there is, I'm sure Alan can comment further, there's no card information changing hands because it's a cloud-based transaction. It's simply a verification from PayPal that I have enough money and that my transaction has been made. At the moment, however, the cost of the PayPal transactions are relatively high compared to card transactions. So a lot of retailers holding back. But I think PayPal or other e-wallet type solutions will come to fruition in the marketplace. So we're seeing a lot of change in the payment side. We also had other people talking about mobile apps. And I see the transition of mobile apps now coming into in-store apps. It's all about not necessarily worrying where I am when I've got my mobile and looking at the products that the retailer has, but actually enhancing the experience. A lot of people talked this morning about the experience being everything, and that's true. So Home Depot, again, being able to use the app to be able to find products in store, to understand the prices, to look at reviews of those products while I'm in the store. Now that's great because it means the retailers are starting to take control of the situation. We had other speakers this morning already talking about if you're not taking control of it yourself, customers are coming into your store, they're scanning a product, they're finding that it's cheaper on Amazon, they're using Amazon to get more information and reviews, and that they might as well go off and buy it on Amazon. So the fact that they're in your store is critical. You've got them present. Give them more information. So other examples here, Marks & Spencer, Albert Heijn in Holland, and Carrefour in Belgium in that case, but there's lots of others coming along. This one is quite interesting, the Albert Heijn. It does have the spinning recipes that we saw earlier in one of the presentations. It allows you to then simply add those ingredients to your shopping list, either as a standard shopping list or an additional shopping list. So you can create multiple shopping lists. It then reorders your shopping list when you walk into the store because each store layout is slightly different. So to help you shop, it orders it through the store. Then the goal, and those who've been into an ICA or an Albert Heijn know that actually in those stores you can use a handheld scanner to actually do your scanning as you shop. The goal is to then transfer your shopping list straight to the handheld scanner as you then go around, excuse me. So lots of things happening. What about other integrated technologies? We've already seen integrated kiosks being interactive. If I look at Burberry in the UK, this is a picture of the Burberry Regent Street store. They're using RFID to enhance that experience. So if I go in there and I pick up a jacket, almost immediately on a big floor-to-ceiling screen very close to me, I now see this jacket on a catwalk model with the right trousers, the right belt, the right shoes. And it's all by Burberry. Wow, and you have those in this store. I might as well buy them because they all look good together. So upsell and cross-sell using the existing technology that's in the store. And they also have a wonderful experience. If you haven't been to that Burberry store in Regent Street in London, I would certainly advise a visit. One of the things they do every 45 minutes is they've got lots and lots of these really tall screens, and down here they've got a sort of a 5 metre wide screen, 5 metre tall, and it's one of the biggest single screens in Europe. And typical of Britain, and actually typical of what Burberry stands for, every 45 minutes you start to see raindrops on these screens. And then you start to hear the noise of rain, pitter patter, and it gets louder and louder, and the raindrops get harder and harder until you get a full thunderstorm with lightning. And at the end of that thunderstorm, on the screen, you then see the Burberry raincoat and the Burberry umbrella. Typical English, but experiential marketing. So the whole store is engulfed in that sound. It doesn't rain in the whole store, it's just on the screens. Augmented reality, not yet living up to its promise. It is used in advertising, but in store side it's not really taken off. Social media, yeah, there's a lot of push for that. And this is an example from Brazil where the hangers actually have digital counters on them. And those digital counters represent the number of Facebook likes those items of clothes are getting. So some of you might go for the ones that have a lot of Facebook likes. Others might say, actually, I want the ones that don't have so many Facebook likes. We saw a screen like this before, and that's these virtual stores. This is actually Tesco in Gatwick. Tesco did the very first one in a subway in Korea, realizing that South Koreans are very busy people and wanting to get a better foothold in that market. They created these virtual screens which have barcodes on them in the subway while people were commuting in South Korea. And they suddenly went from number 2 online to number 1 online in South Korea. Because what they did is they allowed the Koreans to scan their shopping before they got on the train, and it would be delivered to their home at a time they chose, but when they got home. So saved them actually going shopping. Now at Gatwick Airport, for example, Tesco don't have a store, but they've got a virtual store. Takes up a lot less room and is on a screen which they can scan through, buy all the products they want to. And Gatwick is very much a holiday airport. So imagine the big issue whenever you come back from holiday is that, oh, we've got all this stuff in the car and we need to go shopping as well, and we're tired, we just want to go home. This allows you to scan for your products and have them waiting for you or collect them on the way home. Tesco even now talking about having collection points in the car parks at Gatwick. Convenience, therefore, being the ultimate goal for customer experience, really capturing those customers. And to really scare some of the retailers in the room, robotics starting to take over as well. In Japan, we're starting to see these sort of robots in airports helping customers with effectively a touchscreen kiosk in front of them. And we know that technology helps in this whole process. We do surveys, multiple surveys every year. This is our Christmas shopper survey that we did in the US. And we know that 56% of customers have a better shopping experience. Well, actually the staff use mobile devices as well, just the same as Alan mentioned before. So that the staff can actually deal with those customer questions and customer payment issues wherever the customer is, rather than dragging the customer over somewhere else to where the staff or the retailer has to have a checkout or an information point. So information where it's needed. Interestingly, after all we've heard about this morning and the massive growth of online, only 35% of staff were able to offer online ordering from in-store. That is a huge opportunity for physical retailers to get into the digital world. Almost all of them have websites and e-commerce sites already. The difficulty is, and it's all very well we can talk about future and we can talk about the potential of technology. Most retailers you talk to still have separate web teams, separate store teams, separate marketing teams, and actually getting all of those to work together is pretty tough. A lot of them still have separate warehouses for their web ordering, which again is pretty tough, because why not reuse the stock that you have in store like Debenhams do in the UK? So Debenhams, when they look at their online orders and fulfillment of those orders, will look not just at what's in their warehouses, but also what's at their main stores. That reduces the overall amount of stock they need to have and keeps the finance guys pretty happy. So What do we do as Motorola? Well, first of all, we do try and understand what the retailers want. And actually, rather than just focusing on the IT people at the retailers, we look at the whole business. You can only do that if you understand their customers. So we work with retailers to understand what the path to purchase is. And we focus on actually making sure they can connect better with those shoppers. Typical mobile loyalty at the moment, even if this guy is a member of the loyalty scheme, we don't know until he buys something. Well, how many times you go into a store, you look around, it's a store you like, you may have a membership card, but actually then when you leave the store, you haven't found what you want, but you walk out. So they don't know. You get no loyalty points for that, no recognition. But if you change that concept to a much more digital-based loyalty, where through the wireless network system, you can be recognized as and when you go into the store, you're on their Wi-Fi, you're using their mobile app, you can find out information, you can have a look at the products that are in the store. You may not want to buy it now. You may see an item of clothing or some shoes and think, I like those. I'll scan the barcode and add them to my saved list, my favorites. We can do it online. Why can't we take that technology in store as well? So we do a number of solutions in that area called air defense and presence and locationing to understand who's in the store, analytics for the retailer, but easy access and captive portals for the customers. That solution we call Connected Shopper, so adding shopping lists, product information lookup, adding to shopping carts, favorites, etc., the whole presence and locationing piece, and being able to zone the store as well. So as people walk around the store, knowing what direction they take, knowing how long they spend in different sections, so that we can actually give them the right offers on things that are relevant to them. Other areas, customers leave the store because they don't find what they're looking for. They leave the store because they don't get the right information. They can't find a member of staff. So in a hotel, what do? You go to the front desk, you look for the concierge, and you ask a concierge, where's the best restaurants? How can I get tickets for this show? How do I get to this place? Think of that same concept in a retail store. A customer concierge where I can walk in and find out more information about products, search for products, immediately be able to work out where to go in the store. Is it available in the stock in that store? If not, can I simply tap to order it from here? Save my journey. It's about never losing the sale. They are captive in your store. And then making sure that they're not lost as they come through, because we do know that those people who don't find what they want will leave the store. And we know that 44% of people that leave the store would have bought if they'd known if it was in stock, but they can't find members of staff. So the stats are all there, and I'm quite happy to share the presentation afterwards. So we talked about clienteling, guiding the shopper as they go through, making sure that the shopper has the right technology in their own hands, whether it's technology that they own in terms of mobile phones or technology that the store owns in terms of personal shopping devices like you see in ICA and other stores. And all of those can be used to feed not only information, not only a calculator to add up how much I've spent, but also directions and promotions directly from the vendors like Nestle, Coca-Cola, etc. So more information for the customer as they go through, and also equally, and it's just as important, more information for the staff. Because we tend to forget about the staff in all of this. The customers are coming in with their mobile phones, and yet we tell the staff to leave their phones in their locker and go onto the shop floor. Staff are becoming a bit demoralised by this, and it's important that we deal with that and make sure the staff have access to at least the same information as the customers. Is that product in stock? How much is it? When is it next coming in? Is it available at another store nearby? All of that information is there. Let's provide it to the staff. Doesn't matter what device you provide it on. There's lots of devices out there on the marketplace. It's actually more a matter of what information do I need, what questions are my customers asking, and therefore putting the right tools in the hands of my staff to be able to solve that. I'll skip through a few of these. Yeah, it's about eliminating the questions. One of the things that wasn't mentioned, RFID. We're seeing a huge growth in RFID with Burberry's, with Zara, with other retailers across the world, predominantly in the fashion space, at item level, to make sure that the store knows exactly what products are in stock, to make sure the store knows if they're losing any products, but also to then be able to give that information immediately to the customer who is in the store, but also to use that store stock for the online orders as well. So RFID helps in delivering that promise. I talked about RFID. Checkouts, same picture that Alan had earlier. We're obviously using the same stock photography. But it's not about avoiding queues. A lot of retailers say, look, we want to look at a queue busting situation, a queue busting solution. I say, well, you're too late if that's what you're looking at, because customers look at queues and walk out before they come around the store. So it's about looking at the whole flow of customers going through the store, understanding how long it takes people to go through, and understanding how they want to pay, whether it is a mobile checkout, whether it is a pay by mobile, whether it's a self-checkout, whether it's a staff checkout. All of these are different options and possibilities. And if I look at Tesco, they pretty much offer all of those. So it's not choosing one and saying that is the best solution going forward. It's a matter of having all the options available to their customers based upon the way they want to shop today. And we're looking at, obviously, solutions. People talked about mobile apps with barcodes on them. Well, still, if I walk into most retailers, they're unable at the moment to scan those barcodes, because you cannot use a single 1D laser scanner to scan from a mobile phone. It just won't work. Look at a typical supermarket checkout. Take the produce across there, no problem at all, because it's linear barcodes. Try to scan a mobile phone on there, it won't work. So we need to look at images. So this is our latest imager, which is fully brandable, but all sorts of different images across the range, including the embedded bioptic images and the standard type of ones that you see here, which will scan from mobile phones. So it's important to have the right technology in order to deliver this whole sort of omni-channel, multi-channel, customer-centric environment. So I'll leave it there. From a Motorola perspective, we look at three separate areas. First of all, how do we help the retailers connect directly with the shoppers, whether it's wireless networks and connectivity there, connected shopper. How do we make sure the staff are enabled as well? Because if the staff can do their jobs better, faster, they can deal with customers more of the time. So face-to-face, important. And then how do we empower IT as an overall unit to be able to deliver better services, have the right speed of wireless networking, the RFID infrastructure to be able to understand what's in stock, what's not, etc. With that, thank you.